management area or 7 miles west of Augusta. So there it is right there. If you live in northern White County between Bald Knob and Augusta on 64, this is where we're finding the rotation. Let's bring Nathan Scott in this evening. Nathan will also, he's going to be here all night with me, or as long as he can stay, with the warnings going off. Nathan?
Tom, this is the same cell that developed over Little Rock, and if you watch that cell make its way across the region, it had a very low cloud base. We knew it was going to move to an environment that was more susceptible for this storm to go tornadic. And let's go over to Storm Track 11 because we've got the tool to show you exactly where the rotation is. It's in between Bald Knob and Augusta. That's Storm Track 11, or the GR2, guys, if you can hear me in the back, because we're watching, there we go. So where that bullseye of yellow is, this is a tornado possibly now on the ground, and it could be not only an EF0, but it may become a strong tornado. So you need to take this seriously if you're in this location. Very close to Augusta, just to the east of you folks around Bald Knob, and that is going to be Highway 64. So right over Highway 64, there could be a tornado in that part of White County that will be moving rapidly off to the northeast, 60 miles per hour. So let's go back over to Max, and we will show you a track here. Once again, it's going about 60 miles per hour. So I'm going to put a track on here just 1 second, Tom, as I adjust the speed here, because we did have it at 50 miles per hour. But now these things are rapidly moving off to the north and northeast, and that's going to be the situation. You don't have a lot of time to prepare for these storms to make their way into your neighborhood. So I'm going to zoom out here a little bit, and then we'll put on the track to highlight some of the towns that are directly in the path of this circulation, and we'll point out that circulation. Once again, it's in between Bald Knob and Augusta. So here is the storm track of where circulation. The highest likelihood of that rotation of where it's going to go. So it's going to be in that purple area from Augusta, Fitzhugh, Tupelo, Beadville, up through southern parts of Jackson County. So it's going to be extreme northern parts of Woodruff County into extreme eastern parts of White County. Those are the areas, and Tom, you see the cities in the upper left-hand corner and the estimated times of when that circulation will be over those neighborhoods.
This is going to move very quickly. We mentioned these storms are going to move rapidly across the state tonight, and they could produce a tornado. Nathan mentioned strong tornado is possible. Don't let your guard down. If you live in this vicinity, if you live anywhere in Jackson, White, Lawrence counties, Woodruff counties, in the areas that Nathan was just talking about, go ahead and take shelter immediately. Get to your safe place. Make sure you have your phone with you to receive any further warnings. Going back, though, to earlier today, it looked as if that the atmosphere was going to be primed for severe weather today. We're still expecting a round of storms to move through the central part of the state. This one initiated here near Pulaski County, and this is what it's become. And there's some pretty good rotation, possible tornado here. Highway 64, those of you in Augusta, you know where 64 is located. You've got the White River in this general vicinity as well. There's the center of this particular possible tornado near Warden, Arkansas, and it's moving to the northeast.
Yeah, so if there's going to be something, it's going to be right there in between Warden and Augusta, headed towards Fitzhugh. But those areas are under a tornado warning at this time, and this is the type of situation, ladies and gentlemen, we're not talking about just these very weak, brief spin-up tornadoes. This is more of, this could be a tornado that lasts on the ground for several miles, because this is a lone thunderstorm. It's a supercell thunderstorm, and it is all by itself. So there's no competition with the environment. The environment, it's a buffet, and these storms are going to feed off that. And I don't think this is going to be the only storm we're going to have to deal with tonight, because there's more storms developing off to the southwest. So we have to watch out for these cells now starting to fire up into Garland County, into Clark County, Hot Spring County. They are all moving off to the north and northeast. We've got that tornado watch until 11 o'clock for a large part of central Arkansas. You need to stay weather aware. You need to make sure you have several ways of notifications in case a tornado warning is issued for your county and your hometown. So we've got a lot to watch. This is just the start of what could be a long night. This could continue until after midnight. Yes, that watch goes until 11 o'clock, but there could be a new watch. Until the cold front clears the region, we're going to have to deal with this potential of strong to severe thunderstorms. And today, the chance of seeing these storms develop into not only severe storms, but storms that could produce tornadoes, and 1 or 2 strong tornadoes are certainly on the table, especially for locations off to the north and east of the metro. So here's radar once again. You can see the storms blossoming across the area. We've got that tornado warning if you're just joining us right now for a small sliver of White County. That does not include you folks in Searcy. That storm is to the east of you. It's to the east of you in Bald Knob. It's going to be for folks in Augusta, Fitzhugh, Tupelo, and then into Jackson County, into Weldon. So we're going to take a look at the winds. We're looking into the storm, and it is certainly drawing in a lot of inflow. It's really pulling in a lot of air and a lot of that environmental air that's going to pretty much stabilize this system, and I don't expect it to weaken anytime soon. I'm going to take a look at some other data here. We'll send it back over to Chief Meteorologist Tom Brannon. Tom, do you want the winds or would you like radar?
Well, let's go back to radar. While we've got this one, let's take a look at what's happening southwest of us, because we're beginning to see a rapidly changing situation over southwest Arkansas as well. We've got the tornado warning here for White, Woodruff, Jackson, and let's see, what was the other county? I missed one, and I apologize. White, Jackson, Woodruff counties, and this is until 6:30 p.m. Southwest of this, we want to make sure that you folks know that in central parts of central Arkansas, southwest Arkansas, more storms are really starting to fire up here. Just looking at some verbiage from the National Weather Service, this is beginning to come together quickly. These individual cells that you see in Pike County, also toward the Howard County area, Montgomery County. This is an area we're going to have to keep an eye on as well over the next several hours. So with this in mind, go ahead and take your preparations now. Make sure you have a way to receive weather information, severe weather information. Make sure your safe place is ready to go, because now we're beginning to see, you've heard us talk a little bit about the atmosphere and the cap on the atmosphere. When it goes, we were going to see rapid development of these thunderstorms, and they are intensifying pretty quickly right now over parts of Garland County, just edging into Saline County, Hot Springs Village area, Hot Springs just to the west of you, Bismarck, Arkansas, and Hot Spring County, Amity, south of Daisy. This is an area we're going to watch very closely here over the next half hour to 45 minutes as this area races to the northeast at about 60 to 65 miles per hour. We can't stress enough, there's a lot of folks out on the roadways tonight. Maybe they're shopping, Christmas parties, holiday parties. This is going to be a very active evening for the next several hours. All right, we'll go back to the warning now in White County. Looks like that storm is now just about ready to move out of White into extreme northern Jackson County, or Woodruff counties, excuse me. But it is, Nathan, you can see it's really ramping up here. So this storm has intensified. And by the way, the bullseye, so to speak, is over the northeastern part of the state. Let's take a closer look at that.
Yeah, once again, I'm looking at the Storm Track 11, Tom, and we're not seeing that yellow as much anymore, so it could still be producing a tornado, but I don't think it's as strong. And you got to watch out for these supercells because they go through cycles. So on the left-hand side of the screen, that's looking at the rain and hail in the storm, and on the right-hand side of the screen, you're looking at where that rotation is being detected by this particular computer. And fortunately, it's primarily over farmland. That's some good news. However, folks still in this area, we're going to keep you updated, and we're going to stay with you until this tornado warning is done, because it's going to be headed towards the community of Fitzhugh. So Fitzhugh, you're directly in the path of this rotation. We have not confirmed anything. We don't know if the funnel or rotation has made its way down to the surface, but it's just that type of situation. You got a supercell, you got to take it seriously, because it could make its way down to the ground at any moment, and it could be a strong tornado that develops very quickly. We're just in that environment, like we've been saying. It's warm, it's very, very humid, and pretty much all the ingredients are there for these storms to really take off and become nasty very, very quickly. But once again, it's going to be the folks in Fitzhugh, Tupelo, Weldon, into southern parts of Jackson County that really need to keep a close eye on the system, because this is a nasty cell. It's right now going to probably be embedded within rain. You're not going to be able to see the tornado unless you're probably down to the southeast of the storm, looking into the storm. But as that storm approaches your region, you're going to get the rain first, and then the tornado will come along with it within the rain as it approaches that area. Now we're into Woodruff County, northern parts of Woodruff County.
It was Lawrence County a minute ago. They've taken Lawrence County out of that warning. But just to give you an idea, here's Augusta, Arkansas. Augusta here. You've got McCrory off to the east-southeast. There's Riverside, Arkansas. And where Nathan's talking about Fitzhugh, the possible tornado is just to the west of Fitzhugh, and it is racing to the northeast at about 60, 65 miles per hour. Like he said, there's a good possibility the circulation center is going to be wrapped in rain. You won't see it coming at you. Let's see. Okay, they just issued a little bit of a statement that the storm's rotation is weakened a bit, but a secondary updraft is developing with this. So, Nathan, you're right. Just a moment ago, you said these storms will cycle in and out, and that appears to be what's happening with this particular supercell.
Yeah, Tom, you can see the latest update right there. So the rotation very close to Fitzhugh. It's drifting its way off to the north and northeast. So right on the border of White County, Woodruff County, into Jackson County. That area is going to be where this rotation of the supercell is going to move over, and it may produce a tornado at any moment. Once again, fortunately, it's over primarily farmland, but let's go back over to our regular radar, and I've got zoomed in on some of the streets.
Right.
If you're watching us in these areas, you're under the gun, and you need to take your tornado precautions at this time because you don't have much time to take those precautions as this cell is moving rapidly off to the north-northeast, about 55 to 60 miles per hour. So pretty much county roads, looks like, Tom.
Yeah,
County Road
yeah.
27, 264. We got Woodruff,
County Road
165. So
135.
all county roads, it looks like, in this area. The major road would be Highway 33.
And that's right here, that blue line right there on your map. Here's Fitzhugh, Arkansas, and just to the west of Fitzhugh, as Nathan was saying, these county roads. County Road 153 up a little farther to the north of that center of circulation. County Road 264, just to give you an idea so that you can acclimate yourself to where this particular thunderstorm could be producing a tornado. And the National Weather Service is going to remove White County from a warning. It's now pushed out of White County. I think Bald Knob, you're fine. Augusta, this cell is just to your north now. But you're still involved in that warning, but it's now moving away from you and moving very quickly to the northeast. Weldon, Tupelo, Arkansas, you folks are next in line.
Yeah, and if you have any friends or family that live into Fisher, into Waldenburg, those areas, certainly give them a heads up because most likely this cell is going to hold together and it may strengthen as it moves closer and closer to the Jonesboro television market area. And once it moves into, what is that? It's going to be Poinsett County, around Harrisburg. That's when we'll be able to go back to regular programming.
Right.
But until this rotation moves out of the THV 11 viewing area, we're going to stick with it. And like we said, we have to watch out what's happening with the other cells that are developing just to the west of Little Rock Metro.
Yeah, and it's the individualized cells, the supercells coming together all by themselves. They're not competing for the air mass around them. They're taking it all in. Now we've got a line of storms here that's Perry County, Saline down to Garland County, but just to the southeast of Hot Springs and Hot Spring County, looks like a cell's trying to break off there. Pike County just to the south and southeast of the Murfreesboro area, and another one in Howard County. So over the next couple of hours, this will be the main area of concentration. Then it's going to move again into northeast Arkansas, where we have that one supercell thunderstorm. Jackson County, now the cell is moving into your region, southern Jackson County. It's moving out of Woodruff County. I think the folks in McCrory, I think they're playing football tonight at War Memorial Stadium, which brings to the point where you've got active weather tonight, and that's why we encourage you to make sure that you have something to provide you with warnings around you. Know where you are. Hopefully you know where you live. Just make sure that the areas west and south of you are clear, because we could be looking at more storms. And one other thing I want to mention, Nathan, we're beginning to see the activity just ahead of that frontal boundary in northern and northeastern Oklahoma. That's going to move in tonight and will probably affect us around 11 or 12 o'clock. But there you go. Tornado warning is in effect till 6:30 and 6:45. It looks like it's now been extended into the northeastern part of the state in the Jonesboro market, Craighead County, Poinsett County, Arkansas.
Just like what we were talking about. So, I mean, the National Weather Service is right there with us, Tom, because I just said, hey, if you got friends in Poinsett County, then you need to give them a heads up because this cell is heading in their direction. So, yeah, it's just one lone cell. It's very concerning because it's got nothing to fight against it. It's feeding off an atmosphere all alone, and those are the cells that can be capable of producing not only a tornado, but it could be a strong tornado, and that means the EF2 or greater. That's very concerning as it gets closer and closer to Jonesboro. But once again, if you're watching us into extreme northern parts of Woodruff County and southern parts of Jackson County, you right now are under that tornado warning until 6:30. We're going to take a look at the winds once again within this system, and they are really howling from the southeast and east. That's going into the storm. Now the radar,
it's this area.
At this point, we're looking at Little Rock radar, and it is about let's see here. It's going to be about 5,000 feet above the surface. So we're not even seeing what's happening closer to the surface, Tom. We can only see so far because as the radar beam goes up away from the radar, you get pretty high in the atmosphere. I'm going to switch over to Memphis and see if there's any better resolution with that wind field.
Right. And while you do that, let me mention this, that they're getting some reports near Fitzhugh, Arkansas of a tornado that has indeed made it to the ground. So we'll pass that along. If you live in Fitzhugh, Arkansas, if you live in Tupelo, Arkansas, Weldon, Arkansas, and you can hear us or you can watch us, it's a good idea to go ahead and make sure you're in your safe place. Make sure you have your phone with you to receive the warnings. And folks, put something over your head. It's December in Arkansas. You would think this were spring. This is our second severe weather season. So sometimes we have to continually remind ourselves, what do we need to do? Well, we need to get in our safe place. Number one, find the centermost area of your home, basement. Maybe if you have a storm shelter, go ahead and get there now, especially if you live in Weldon, Arkansas, or even over here to Tupelo. Looks like some very strong winds. Have you picked up the Memphis Radar, Nathan?
Yeah, I looked at it. It doesn't look like there's too much difference. It's very close to what Little Rock is seeing, about 4,000 feet above. So not too much difference, but I'll certainly switch back and forth on this other computer to see exactly what's happening and get a better view of the storm as it makes its way through. So I'm going to switch over here to Memphis right now on Storm Track 11 to see if we can get a better view. I think it's about the same distance from Little Rock, though.
Right. And there you go. While he's zooming into that, this is the only cell that we have.
6,000 feet above the surface.
Yeah, and this is the only cell we have in northeast Arkansas right now. Initiation point, central Arkansas, moving to the northeast. It's been able to strengthen. It's been able to pop through that cap and strengthen further. And now storms to the southwest of us, over west central and southwest Arkansas, are certainly storms we're going to be taking a look at. And once again, our rotation model here, the parameter for that does still show some pretty significant rotation, Nathan.
Yeah, and that rotation is right on the border of Woodruff County and Jackson County. Once again, moving off to the northeast about 60 miles per hour. So I'm going to put a new track here, Tom, of where the likelihood of that rotation will go. And we'll take it right over Remmel, Amagon, and into Poinsett County. So here's a rough timeline of what communities may be affected by this tornado that we now possibly have confirmed. Do we have it confirmed yet, Tom? Or is it still?
We're still waiting on that. That was the question. There were social media reports, which doesn't mean it's an actual confirmation. It just means that somebody saw it, but we're still trying to get a visual confirmation on this. But I'll tell you, with some of the scans we've seen, Nathan, I wouldn't be surprised if we did have a brief touchdown. And the problem is our atmosphere is conducive tonight for maybe a couple of long track tornadoes that'll stay on the ground a pretty long time. Let's hope that's not the case. But that's something we're certainly taking a look at. Weldon, Remmel, all the way up even into, Poinsett, Craighead County, Waldenburg over to Weiner and Grubbs, Arkansas. Now, this is crossing over into the Jonesboro viewing area. So once this storm gets out of our viewing area, then we'll take a closer look at what's happening southwest Arkansas.
Yeah, and some other communities there you see Alvern, Johnstown, very close, Pennington. So if you're watching us in any of these locations, you may have a tornado head in your direction in a very short amount of time. You see the times that we've got here for you. These are rough estimates, but around 6:17 for Auburn, Johnstown looks like around 623, Grubbs around 630, Waldenburg around 633. Once again, these storms are moving rapidly off to the northeast and maybe even an easterly direction because they can be right movers, or as that rotation continues to pick up, it could make its way a little bit farther to the east. Bottom line is, you got to take this storm seriously. It may or may not be producing a tornado at this time, but that rotation could come down at any moment. And with a supercell, it could be a strong tornado. We're just looking at that situation. We've got a lot of wind shear, or basically what is winds right at the surface, coming in, say, about 10, 20 miles per hour, and then you go 5,000 feet above the surface and the winds change direction somewhat. That is creating a twist in the atmosphere that these storms can feed off of and begin to rotate, and hence you get what's known as a supercell, or what is known as a rotating thunderstorm. And those are the type of storms that can produce tornadoes, but also strong tornadoes. And we do have that potential. We got the tornado watch all the way until 11 o'clock. So you got to stick with us. You got to stay weather aware at least until 11 o'clock. It could be later than that. I don't think we're out of the woods until probably midnight or 1 o'clock here in most of central Arkansas. That's because we have to wait until the front clears everything out. So we could see a few storms ahead of the front that could be strong to severe, and then we could also see some storms right along the front or ahead of the front that may be strong to severe. So it could be a long night here in central Arkansas, but Chief Meteorologist Tom Brannon and I will certainly keep you updated throughout the evening.
While we have a moment, let's take a look at what's going on to our southwest, Nathan, over into west central southwest Arkansas. No warnings yet on these particular cells. This cell is getting ready to push out of our viewing area, but a rapid increase in intensity with this line that's now lining up west of Conway and northern Faulkner County through Perry, just the western edge of Pulaski County, Saline, and then you have the little individual cells on the southern flank of this, and Garland, Hot Spring County, also toward Pike and Clark County, excuse me. This area is moving to the northeast. And I would say, and I would have to say this, I know that there's a big game in Little Rock tonight over at War Memorial Stadium that includes a couple of teams that are playing for a state championship. It's probably just best to be aware of the surroundings as that line moves in. We could see severe thunderstorm warnings with this particular line, and quite possibly if those cells mature in southwest Arkansas here in the next hour or so, they're moving very quickly to the northeast. 60, 65 miles per hour. They're going to cover a lot of terrain in a very short amount of time. Again, no warnings yet on this line, but I think that things are changing. The frontal boundary is getting closer to Arkansas, and we've got all the necessary ingredients for severe weather tonight. And once again, the biggest area of concern is going to be over parts of central and northeast Arkansas. And there's your first tornado warning of the evening, and it's beginning to push into Craighead and Poinsett County, but still a little bit of Jackson County just south of Newport along 67 and 224. Looks like the center of circulation is somewhere here around Highway 17, and it's moving off toward the Rimmel area. It looks like it may just go to the south of Rimmel and between Waldenburg and Rimmel. There's, again, Wiener and Grubbs in northeast Arkansas. That's what's going to be next. Pretty intense winds here, Nathan, still holding together.
Yeah, we're looking pretty high in the atmosphere, Tom. So we're looking at about 4,000 or 5,000, 6,000 feet in the atmosphere. But yeah, those winds are screaming from the southeast in that direction. And also something we want to point out is we may not see a severe thunderstorm warning before a tornado warning has been issued. This was not issued with a severe thunderstorm warning at first. It was, I just tweeted it out. If you were following me on Twitter, I said, hey, this storm's not warned, but look out, Jackson County into Poinsett County, because this could be warned at any moment. And then I would say, 3 minutes later, bam, a tornado warning came out. So we're in that type of situation. Don't wait for a severe thunderstorm warning. It could go directly to a tornado warning, and that's just the nature of a supercell, because soon as we see that rotation make its way from mid-level down to lower level, they're going to trigger that tornado warning. And right now, it looks like if there is a tornado happening at this time, it's going to be right over Highway 17, moving off to the northeast, so it will be affecting Highway 145, Algoa, very close to Amagon, and then it's going to continue to make its way towards Waldenburg. Fisher also under that tornado warning in Poinsett County, along with Wiener. So we have to watch out for those areas. And it's a significant storm. It's a dangerous storm. And now if we go over to Storm Track 11, this is the latest scan. Now, this might be a bad scan, but that is concerning because we have gone from that green to more of a yellow. So the colors aren't really looking too reliable at this time on the left-hand side. So it may be a bad scan. We'll have to see what the next scan reveals, but that is a little more concerning. It's saying to me that this cell might be starting to intensify, and if there isn't something happening at the surface right now, it could happen at any moment, and it might not be just a weak tornado, but it could be EF2 or greater trying to develop in that part of Jackson County, about to move into Poinsett County. Tom.
What's impressive, Nathan, not from the standpoint of a good impressive, but this is looking well away from Little Rock, and you're picking up scans like this on the rotation monitor here. So yeah, unless it's a bad scan like you were saying, there may very well be a tornado there that continues. And this is, I give you some locations. You've got Beadville here, and storm tops as well. How tall are we looking at here?
That top is now about 42,000 feet.
42,000. Earlier tonight it was 38,000, and it kept growing. So that's a sign that, yeah, the storm is still maturing. It's building. You can see the circulation right there. We'll give you just an idea. Here's Weldon, Arkansas. You've got Tupelo to the south. So this storm is now just to the northeast of Beadville, Arkansas.
Yes. So it's now there's the newest scan. So that looks a little more reliable. But, seeing that bullseye southeast of Auburn.
Right here. That's what he's talking about.
And also the increase in winds to the left of you, Tom. I'm seeing the increase in wind. So that there's something happening. And whether or not it's making its way to the ground, that storm is spinning like a top right now. And that's why you got to take it seriously. It's still in the THV 11 viewing area. It's in Jackson County. It will be moving into Poinsett County. Once it moves into Poinsett County, the good folks in Jonesboro will handle that warning, as they are already handling that warning right now, because parts of Poinsett County are under a warning at this time. So we'll zoom in once again. We'll show you exactly where we're seeing this rotation. It's about to approach Highway 145 south of Remmel, but it's going to be very close between Remmel, Algoa, and Amagon. And then it's going to continue to move into Poinsett County. So those are the communities that really need to take your tornado precautions at this time, because there is a rotating thunderstorm. It may produce a tornado at any moment. Don't take a chance. Don't go out looking for it, because of course it's night. This cell has a lot of lightning with it, and there are storm chasers watching it very closely in that part of the state. We're going to zoom out here. We'll take a look at what's happening around the rest of the state. Once again, we still have more storms developing into Garland County, Saline County, Perry County. Those are non-severe, but we also have a severe thunderstorm warning into northeast Texas. Now that already being severe at this time, Tom, is definitely concerning, because it's moving into an environment that's more favorable for this storm to continue to intensify. So we'll have to watch out for that cell very closely in northeast Texas as it moves into southwest Arkansas. So therefore, Sevier County, Little River County, Howard, Pike, Hempstead, Clark County, you got to watch out for this cell over the next hour or so, because that may continue to intensify and could go tornadic as well. We're just in this environment. Any storm that develops tonight might go severe and might produce a tornado.
Right, and it's these little individual cells that, as they mature, the ones that are of a real concern. You've got this one in northern Pike County. No warnings on it yet. Also Clark County, Hot Spring, Garland, Saline, up to Perry, and now Faulkner counties. Looks like we've got a line that's trying to extend into Cleburne and Independence County, just out ahead of that main supercell that's beginning to enter into Craighead and Poinsett counties. I mentioned the cold front. The front may be here, and there was going to be another line initiating out ahead of that frontal boundary. That's moving to the east, and it will move through tonight very quickly. The atmosphere around us, as Nathan said, is it's turbulent. We've just got everything there. We've got wind, we've got instability, we've got storm fuel for these thunderstorms to sustain over a large amount of time. And just with the warning of the Storms Prediction Center today that we're in this hatched area that could include an EF2 tornado or stronger. and not trying to scare anybody. I really don't want to do that. But we're seeing this happen at night. So those of you that are at home right now, make sure you have things ready to go. It's just a good idea, just in case. We got a long way to go as the system moves across the state. And this is what we were just talking about. Northeast Arkansas, the hatched area, that is a high risk of severe weather. The hatched indicates a few strong tornadoes, EF2 or stronger. Hail, yeah, we could see some hail, but winds and the tornadoes are what we're really concerned with, and these might stay on the ground for a pretty good while.
And here's the timeline once again, Tom, just to show the viewers at home of when we need to stay weather aware. We've been saying it's going to be potentially a long night. So here's the breakdown for you.
Yeah, until 11 o'clock here over west central and western Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas should be out of the woods by 11 for sure. 11 o'clock for west central Arkansas, Harrison, Russellville down to Mena. Central Arkansas might have to stay up late tonight. 2 o'clock in the morning as the area moves to the east. Arkadelphia, Little Rock, Searcy, Batesville, just to name a few areas. And tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock, we're still going to see storms ongoing. 5 o'clock in the morning, West Memphis, Monticello, El Dorado, even possibly Pine Bluff. And one of the things, it's December the 10th. You typically don't see a system like this December the 10th, but it is our second severe weather season. We had a little severe weather early in the week, Nathan, and then this one, which we've been keeping an eye on now for a good while, and here it is, it's time, and it's producing a possible tornado in northeast Arkansas and some very strong thunderstorms that are not severe yet, but we've got more to come. Going to keep an close eye on the one in northern Pike County that's moving to the northeast at 60 miles per hour, and that storm in northeast Arkansas is moving to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. These are going to move through quickly. And since they're going to be moving through very quickly from west to east or from southwest to northeast, it's imperative that you know where to go and what to do at a moment's notice. A lot of people will take their phone to bed, turn it off, or put it on silent. Don't do that tonight. Keep it up, because our THV11 app will fire off a warning alerting you that you need to take cover. Let's go back to this storm. What's new?
Still looking at solid rotation just to the south of Amagon, and that is moving off to the northeast. So right now, we're right along Highway 37 is where, if there's something happening, if there's a tornado at the surface, it's going to be right in that area of Jackson County. It's going to be very close to Amagon. So Amagon, you should be in your safe place at this time, because that rotation is very nearby, if not right over you. We have to keep in mind the radar beam is pretty high, so exactly where that rotation is, you got to give it a little more playroom, I would say. So don't specifically say, hey, it's between Amagon and Algoa. It could be right over those communities. It's moving towards Pennington and then into Waldenburg. You see the county line, Jackson and Poinsett County is right there. So it's almost moving out of Jackson County, but again, this is moving off to the northeast about 60 miles per hour. So we'll put another track on there just in case you're tuning in to show you exactly where this rotation is going to be located. The highest chance is going to be right through Waldenburg, Otwell, Greenfield, Gibson, and then it's going to get very close to Jonesboro. So if you have friends and family in Jonesboro, they certainly need to be watching this very closely. Jonesboro technically is not under a tornado warning, but they may be over the next hour because, once again, this cell, nothing is really there to stop it or weaken it.
In fact, the National Weather Service just put out some information on it that this storm has now strengthened. It's the strongest it's been tonight with what's called gate-to-gate shear. So some very strong rotation with this storm, possible tornado, and it's moving to the northeast. Nathan mentioned that once we get beyond, let's say Jackson County, moves over into Poinsett and Craighead County, it will have officially left our viewing area. Then we'll turn our attention to what's happening to our south and southwest. A very impressive storm tonight, Nathan. We expected that these thunderstorms would find the environment to help them thrive, and that's what's happening tonight. It just took a little bit of time. We've got what was called a cap, call it a lid on the atmosphere, and once that was able to blow, or once the storms were able to break through it, this is the result right here. Possibly a tornado here in northeast Arkansas. And more storms to our south and west we're keeping an eye on.
And Tom, hopefully that's the only supercell we have to deal with. I mean,
I
that
hope
would
so.
be great news. However, we're just in this environment that any cell could turn into a supercell. We've got that band of heavy rain taking place, nothing severe, but certainly thunder and lightning lined up now, extending from Heber Springs through Faulkner County, affecting folks in Greenbrier, Guy, moving into Conway, into Spring Hill, Menifee, down through Bigelow, Y. So eastern parts of Perry County, moving into Faulkner County, moving into Pulaski County, and then all the way down into Saline County and Garland County, affecting folks in Hot Springs. Once again, this is not severe. I'm not seeing any rotation of concern.
Yeah.
Let me just take a look at this just to make sure I'm not jumping the gun
and
here.
that would certainly be good news
There's
because
gusty winds, yes.
Be a wind threat, exactly.
Yeah, there's
Straight line
definitely
winds.
some gusty winds. And then that's possibly round 2. And then we've got another potentially round 3 as this cell is emerging from northeast Texas. You got that severe thunderstorm warning for Little River County, a small sliver of Little River County, but that will likely be extended into, I would say, more of Little River County, Sevier County, Howard, Pike County. And we'll have to watch out for that cell, Tom, because that could start to rotate at any moment.
Can we take a closer look at this one here in Pike County? Just we take a zoom in there just to see near, the one near Amity, actually, my apologies. This is the one that's also now showing some signs of rotation. There's no warning on it, but it is showing some signs of mid-level rotation. What's nice is Weather Service can send out this information and we can relay it to you at home. So if you, let's say you live upstream here, if you live in Elm, Arkansas, even up to Bonnerdale, all the way up to Piercy, Arkansas, Lake Hamilton, we're going to keep a close eye on this one as it now is exhibiting some signs of rotation. And it may strengthen rapidly here over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Moving to the northeast, and that line is moving to the northeast with a little bit of an eastward push. Gusty winds, damaging wind is possible, 58 to 60 mile per hour plus. And I tell you, although not expecting a whole lot of hail out of these storms tonight, we could still see some hail. And there we go. Nathan's putting it into motion for you to show you what's going to happen. Yeah, a little bit more of an individual cell here in the one that's now just north of Daisy, moving over southern and southeastern parts of Montgomery County. It doesn't look like it's going to affect the Mount Ida area, but could move over Lake Ouachita up toward the Garland County area.
All right, Tom, just to let the viewers know at home, a weather force. We've got weather force going up in the direction of Jackson County to check out things and see what's happening. There you see a lot of lightning. And I don't know exactly where they are. Probably 67, 167 is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would think so. Meteorologist Scott Covert in Weather Force 11. So hopefully we'll be able to get a report from Scott here after a while, probably in the next hour or so, about whether or not we have some damage to report there. And by the way, we just to talk about this real quick, Nathan, we never encourage anybody to
Faulkner County is where Scott is
in
located
Faulkner
right
County.
Now. Faulkner County,
Okay.
so I apologize for that.
No
He's in
problem.
Faulkner County, so he's going right through that line of lightning and thunder. Not severe for you folks in Faulkner County, but still producing quite a light show in that part of the state, and it's moving into the metro. So once again, we've got several systems starting to pop up here and there as we're starting to lose that layer of warm air. The cap is about to break, or it has already been broken, and now the storms are developing, and we have to watch every single storm very closely. But once again, we've got that one cell still into eastern parts of Jackson County, and that one is about to move into Poinsett County. Here's the latest radar on that to show you exactly where that rotation is at this time. It is about to move over the county line of Jackson into Poinsett County.
Well, let me take a time out for just a moment. Rolly Hoyt's joining us. Rolly, just have a quick question. I guess we're going to keep it here weather-wise, and we're not going to do the special. Is that correct? I have not heard from a producer, so I thought I would ask you. You might know the answer
I don't know.
to that.
I hear my microphone there, Tom.
Yes, sir.
We want to let everybody know that if you've tuned in to catch the Capitol Lighting Special, it's available on our YouTube channel right now on the air. We're going to obviously stick with this and with you guys' forecast preparations here and storm preparations. So if you're looking for the lighting of the Capitol from last Saturday night, head to our YouTube channel, keep it open on your second screen, and you can enjoy it there or anytime you need to. Meanwhile, we're going to continue on with coverage of these storms as they bear down on Jackson County.
All right, thank you, Rolly. Appreciate that. This warning, the warning for the storm for Jackson County, will expire here at about 6:32 here, 13 minutes, and we'll go ahead and carry that on through into northeast Arkansas. There's the center of rotation now over Highway 14 along the county line. It's moving out of Jackson County just to the west of the Waldenburg area, southwest of Weiner, Arkansas, and is moving to the northeast at about 60 to 65 miles per hour. It's an impressive cell. The National Weather Service has said it's been strong, and it continues to maintain its strength, of which is why we were talking about these long-lived tornadoes or supercells that could produce an EF2 or greater tornado. It's very possible this would produce a tornado just by some of the scans we've seen tonight. And hail, in terms of hail, maybe quarter-sized hail. Here's what it looks like up here. This is our little, the name escapes me. Quarter-sized. What did you say?
Legend.
Legend.
Or key.
Or key.
It's been a long day.
Right. Anticipation. I know it. The legend or the key. Hail near Grubbs, south of Grubbs, Arkansas, along Highway 37 there. Hail is a possibility. Some strong winds with these storms as they race off to the northeast.
Yeah. So, Tom, we are watching several areas, and now since we're just going to take the whole half hour, I guess we could just give a tour of what's happening around the region.
Let's do it.
This is almost like the Weather Channel. Half hour for the Weather Channel, Arkansas Weather Channel, right? Okay,
right.
We're going to do it that way.
That's right. Let's talk about this line of storms that we have. We know that we're expecting some individual cells to develop out ahead of the frontal boundary, but this line of storms is some good news because we're seeing some very heavy rainfall, and it extends all the way now into Cleburne County, into Independence County. We're going to start you here near Floral, Arkansas, Tumbling Shoals, Heber Springs, down to Pearson, Arkansas, Quitman, Arkansas. Looks like some heavier rain and some thunder near you, and it extends all the way south into southwest Arkansas, where just some information there. Nothing super organized yet, but keeping an eye on a couple of cells that could organize into supercells. You got Woolly Hollow State Park. There's Greenbrier, Arkansas, Faulkner County, Wooster. You've got another line of storms moving through you. Should be out of the way here in the next 30 to 45 minutes. Down to Bigelow, Fourche, Arkansas, or Fourche, Y Mountain area, Little Italy. Not quite into the western part of Pulaski County, maybe over the tail end of Lake Maumelle. And that line also extends southwestward through Saline, Garland County, into Pike counties. And where you see this break apart from the main line, this is what you really have to keep an eye on for the development. It gets away from the main line and it becomes even stronger.
Yes, Tom. So it's good to see a line segment form, because with a line segment, you're less likely to have these individual supercells develop. So that's what we want. And we need the rain. I mean, we're in a drought, a severe drought in southwest Arkansas. And this is from
Hot Springs Bypass, Garland County, where it's raining. There you go. Here's CHI St. Vincent. So that is, just call it the Hot Springs Bypass. People in Hot Springs know what it is. Around 270. Is that right, JD? 270 west area. You can see the rain, needing the rain here in southwest and central Arkansas. So this is a viewpoint that we have for you. If you're going to be out and about tonight, here it is, 6:35. State championship game starts at 7 o'clock. That line of storms is going to be awfully close to War Memorial Stadium. And look at this. This would indicate some strong winds, that arcing segment there, maybe bowing out, maybe some strong straight line winds. Non-tornadic, but strong nonetheless from near Williams Junction through Parent, Arkansas, along Highway 9 and 298. There's Lake Winona. And these winds, along with that line moving to the east, may affect the Ferndale area within the next half hour or so.
Yeah, so we're getting wind gusts of about 35, 40, maybe as high as 50 miles per hour. Now, a severe thunderstorm, the winds have to be 58 miles per hour or greater. But still, that could cause some power outages in that part of Saline County, and that's moving towards Pulaski County. And we're getting these winds measured about 1,500 feet above the surface. So that most likely is trying to push down to the ground. Gusty winds expected in this part of central Arkansas right now, as this is most likely a gust front now developing, moving into northern parts of Saline County, about to move into Pulaski County. So if you're watching us in North Point, Ferndale, you might see some gusty winds head in your direction. Not seeing any rotation at this time, but there could be a severe thunderstorm warning that may need to be posted shortly if these winds continue to intensify
That's
in
right
this
there.
part of the state. Looks like that's the highest wind gusts I'm seeing right now in that part of central Arkansas. Once again, northern parts of Saline County about to move into Pulaski County.
Right. I want to mention this. Good news for Jackson County. That warning has been allowed to expire, or the National Weather Service has expired that warning. So in our viewing area, we don't have a tornado warning anymore. That's fantastic. So that means we can put our focus and attention on this line of storms that continues to strengthen as it moves to the east. We showed you this area right here that is bowing out, possibly some strong straight line winds. And then in Garland County, trying to break apart here, you've got this cell in Montgomery County, northern Pike County. We'll keep an eye on that one for you. That's, again, these individual cells are the ones you got to keep an eye on that could produce tornadoes. But the line of storms, as it moves to the east, it's going to produce some wind. We'll take that all day long. And in fact, if this could hurry up and move through and we get the front through, things will be so much better heading into tomorrow. Just to reset for just a moment, we are under a tornado watch till 11 o'clock. That's all of central and northeast Arkansas. And that warning is now in the Jonesboro area. So it's moving out of the central part of the state, or it's out of the central part of the state. And it looks as if, another extension of that tornado watch now for southwest Arkansas and the Arklatex region. But the watch for central Arkansas is in effect till 11 o'clock, which means that between now and 11 o'clock, the conditions are favorable for the supercell thunderstorms to possibly produce a tornado. And we've got the frontal boundary itself in northeast Oklahoma. It's tracking to the east and should clear the state by early tomorrow morning. And there are the counties through 11 o'clock. They do include southwestern Arkansas counties, a few of our fringe counties as well. Nevada, Hempstead County, even parts of Howard County can pick us up. And we saw those storms here in southwest Arkansas. All right, so that gets you up to date on what's happening. What a day we had today. It was very, very warm outside. Nathan, you called it earlier in the week. You wouldn't be surprised if we reached a record. We reached 78 degrees today.
Yeah, and that means that we tied the record, which was set back in 1889 at the Little Rock Airport. That's over 130 years ago. So when you have this type of environment and you hit record highs and you got all this moisture in place, and we've got the wind shear or the energy from the system, the storm system ahead of the cold front, you're going to most likely have storms that go strong to severe. And that's the situation we've got going on this evening. We'll stay with you all evening long. We'll certainly keep you updated, break in on programming if needed when there's a tornado warning that has been issued. And you just need to make sure you stay weather aware, at least until midnight for most of central Arkansas, because we could see several rounds of showers and storms. Now, with that said, some of you may not see a drop of rain. They're going to be very hit or miss types of storms. But if you do get hit, you could get hit with a nasty storm that may produce damaging wind gusts, maybe some large hail, quarter size, golf ball size, and yes, even the potential of a tornado. And we do have that tornado warning still in effect in Poinsett County, out of the THV 11 viewing area. But we still have to watch out what's happening with any cells that develop out there this evening. So now that we're seeing the storm start to fire up, that is a little bit more of a concern, because before, when we were talking this time last night, it looked like everything was going to not happen until a little bit later in the evening, because that layer of warm air, or the cap, was going to remain in place. As long as we had that cap in place, storms could not break through the cap and they wouldn't become strong and we just have showers around. But now the cap's starting to break, and that's why we start to have these storms develop. And the big concern out there this evening is for these lone discrete supercells, because those are the storms that can go tornadic very quickly. We've got that cell now. We've got Jonesboro under a tornado warning. So if you have any friends or family, we're going to zoom in on that, because that's the most concerning cell at this point. And we're going to switch over to the Memphis Radar now to show you exactly where the rotation is with this cell, because that is certainly a concerning situation. I mean, they just got hit with an EF3 tornado 2 years ago, Tom.
Right. So here we go with another storm. Moving to the northeast, here's Gibson, Arkansas, Jonesboro, and this is where we find the center of circulation within this severe thunderstorm. It is moving to the northeast, and it may very well go through the downtown Jonesboro area. So if you have friends here, maybe you have a college student, make sure they're going to take cover, make sure they're taking cover and prepared for this particular storm as it moves to the northeast. I'd say the good news for central Arkansas, this has left the Jackson County area. And out of Jackson County, that was part of our warning criteria there, Jackson County, Arkansas. Now that warning has been allowed to expire. One more time, this is a tornado warning in effect for Craighead and also for Poinsett counties, Nathan. And we're going to leave it here. I think we've given the all clear, so I think we're going to take a break from here, and we will interrupt programming throughout the night. All right.
I just want to note there, Tom.
Okay.
We leave.
Oh, one more thing. They're going to delay the game 30 minutes at War Memorial Stadium.